Is this thing on? Is it on? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris, aka Hood Digital, aka the Wildfire Spectator, aka the starving YouTuber. And today I was going to do a regular video. I had some videos in the works, had some videos that I was eyeing while I was at work. But I couldn't take my mind off what's going on in LA, the wildfire, and I just had to do this. At the same time, I want to learn what's going on. I seen this video where 70,000 evacuated as Los Angeles wildfire rages out of control. And it's crazy. I heard it was 5 dead so far. And I seen a lot of crazy videos, including the one about the mayor, Karen Bass. I heard she's the one that's in the biggest wildfire. She's under the biggest fire of all. Let's just take a look, man. Let's get right to it. Like I said, I also want to learn what's going on. That's why I wanted to watch this video. I have not seen this video. I seen like clips of it. I know that it's I believe it's a British person talking, and now a British narrator. So let's just get right to it. Let's just get right to it.
The thing about a wildfire, they can appear in what feels like an instant. And if the wind changes, how long do you have to get out?
You're gonna be okay, alright? You're gonna be okay.
By the way, I forgot to tell y'all, as y'all can see, I'm representing the roots today. Dominicana, Tigre all day, just representing. Let's keep watching.
The two men and dog in this footage left it to the very last minute to flee to safety.
All right, dude. So, yeah, let's get out of here. We tried, bro.
Same blaze, different
He tried. Ain't no trying. I don't know what the hell you was trying.
neighborhood. Just when is it time to leave everything behind to the inferno? Cinders rain from the sky in escape scenes that could have been conjured by Hollywood.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm laughing, but ain't nothing to joke about this. This is serious. This is serious. When I was reading about this, I got in my feelings. I mean, this is crazy because I can imagine. I'm glad. Well, thank God, let's just say, that my family members, my mother, my brother, my cousins, my kids, they all live on the East Coast. As far as I know, I got a few cousins in Texas, but I don't know any that live out on the West Coast. But let's just keep watching, man. This is crazy. This is heartbreaking right here.
God. Get in the car.
Daybreak in the City of Angels and the visitation of hell.
This is a tragic time in our history here in Los Angeles, but a time where we're really tested and see who we really are. And it's critical that at these times we be patient, that we come together, that we focus on saving lives.
Through the night, the huge Palisades fire barreled along the exclusive Malibu coast. Authorities declaring a state of emergency, predicting the worst is yet to come.
Oh, that's horrible.
Across the county, tens of thousands have been told, evacuate now. The other side of LA, near the growing Eaton wildfire, which is known to have already killed 2 care home patients, wheeled out in the nick of time.
Basically, the fire started coming from down the mountain. We noticed it moving pretty quickly, so we did start evacuating.
Must be crazy too with the senior citizens and all the emergencies, the hospitals. I was listening to a couple of videos. I was watching a couple of videos. I've seen Anthony Hopkins, Jamie Lee Curtis. I heard her house was messed up also on the fire. I heard that a couple of historic monuments were damaged. The Hollywood sign was damaged. I heard a lot of stuff. That's why I'm watching this video. I'm still not well informed as far as what's going on. I was reading the New York Post though, man, and the first thing that came out that I first read was the story about the mayor. We're gonna take a look at her in a moment. We're gonna talk about her in a moment. But this must be wild. This must be crazy, especially because so many hardworking citizens are affected. And this is Mother Nature. This is Mother Nature. There's nobody to blame. This is just something that could have happened. And this is, if I like to think of it as an act of God, it's Mother Nature basically, man. It's just things that happen that it's really nobody's fault, and we just all gonna have to deal with it. What I'm thinking about also is the reparations, man. I read somewhere that over $10 billion in damages. It's crazy and counting. Because I know I've seen in the past where there have been wildfires, but I've never seen it in the middle of the city, in the middle of L.A. So this is crazy. I know these people wasn't expecting this to go down like this. But let's keep watching.
Everybody. I was running up to the third story, second story, carrying people down, just picking them up because we do have a lot of wheelchair people on here.
Wildfires in California have got much more severe over the past 3 decades. Data from 1990 shows a clear trend. The number of acres burned every year is on the up. 2020 and 21 were particularly bad.
But I don't think I've ever heard. If you guys are listening, if you whoever's watching this video, let me know in the comments. Has this ever happened in the city? This has never happened in any city. I've never seen it happen. Well, let's talk about California. I've never seen it happen in the city before. And you see this, and it's hard to believe that this was just naturally caused. This is crazy, man. But let's keep watching.
And the annual number of large wildfires, over 10,000 acres, is rocketing too. What's causing this? Rising temperatures and unreliable rains. Much of California's in drought. It doesn't take much for a spark to turn into a firestorm, fanned by savage so-called Santa Ana winds, sucked down from the desert through LA's canyons towards the coast.
This looks like a movie set. Unfortunately, this is real. LA County Fire, they have to do what they have to do.
And in the confusion of an evacuation, anything goes. Bulldozers clearing cars, junked in panic. California's Governor Gavin Newsom says there's no longer a wildfire season, it's year-round. While incoming President Trump attempted to turn this into a political argument.
I mean, he's a politician. What else can he do? He's a politician. But we'll talk about him in a minute. You know, I always like to put myself in people's shoes before you criticize or before you say anything. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of rich people in LA. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of cars, expensive cars, a lot of expensive properties. There's a lot of expensive things in LA. And I can just imagine people that have worked all their lives. I mean, you got cars, people that got cars, beautiful houses to just watch it all just go down in flames. And I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking about the repercussions. I'm thinking about the insurance companies, because I know people got insurance. A lot of people got house insurance. A lot of people got car insurances. I mean, this is not going to be like Hurricane Katrina where a lot of houses wasn't insured. I'm sure there's a lot of houses here that was insured. I mean, there's a lot that's not, but the repercussions to reconstruct LA after these damages is going to be serious. It's going to be very, very serious. And I'm going to talk about the mayor in a moment because it's not just what's going on, it's what's going to happen now with LA. Because also, a lot of people are going to get skeptical about moving to LA and living in LA. California itself, a lot of people are going to get skeptical. So property value will probably go down because it's going to be dangerous to live in LA. People are going to think this is going to keep happening. And it is going to keep happening because, as you can see in the chart, it has been escalating. And now it's in the city. Now it's happening in the actual city. But let's see what my man Trump got to say. Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration. Anyway, let's see it.
In a social media post referring to the governor as news scum and writing, he is the blame for this. The real world implications of climate.
There go Trump. Just like a politician. Hey, listen, I like Trump. I like Trump. I'm not going to talk bad about him. But just like a politician, blaming somebody else, even if this was caused by Mother Nature, still has to blame somebody. Somebody's going to be at fault.
Climate breakdown. For the millions of Americans living in fire zones, more risk. Nurse Nancy Levin Guzman sneaking against the evacuation order to help her elderly parents, who, guess what, recently had their fire insurance revoked.
They're 90 years old. They've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance.
It is now.
This is like, in a different form, another Hurricane Katrina. Like I said, I'm thinking about the aftermath of all this. At the end of the day, no matter how much the government aids, the government helps, it all comes down to the taxpayer. It's all on the taxpayer's shoulders at the end of the day anyway. This is a disaster. This is in every way. This is going to affect the United States overall. But mostly a city of L.A., which is, L.A. is L.A., man. But let's keep watching.
Now late morning in America's second city. The wind is still blowing, and the fires, according to emergency services, are, quote, 0% contained.
Well, earlier I spoke to David Acuna, Battalion Chief with the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, and I began by asking for his assessment of what's happening with the fires now.
The entire Southern California region is actually under a red flag warning, upgraded to a PDS, or a particularly dangerous situation.
And the current statement has been that there's no possibility of bringing these fires under control. Just spell out to us what that means.
Well, a hose line is not really going to be very effective against a wind that's blowing 100 miles per hour. So what we do instead is we remove all the people out of the way. We certainly want to protect homes as best as we can, but we have to focus on removing the people out of in front of the fire, which is why we issue evacuation warnings and evacuation orders.
This is not like a regular house fire that you just go and put out the fire. This is just winds of fire, just, as far as I understand, continue to blow and blow and blow and burning everything in its path. So it's just so much that the fire department can do. It's impossible. Like he says, the only thing we could do is get the people out of the way, because property damage is inevitable.
Are people going willingly? They're having to leave all their homes and their possessions, aren't they?
It is a common issue for people to stay behind, hoping to protect their homes. And while I certainly understand their concern for their property, what happens is then we are forced to move people from the firefighting priority to the life safety priority, which of course is the most important.
So tell us then what you're witnessing in terms of how this fire is behaving and the sort of terrible scene that is confronting you and your officers.
So it absolutely is being blown by the wind, the north.
There's no escaping that. When it's coming like that, there's no escaping that, man. Ain't no escaping. It's just so much that the fire department can do.
wind blowing it directly into these canyons, and then the canyons themselves, the topography moving up and down, causes the winds to move in an unusual manner, and that is just completely unpredictable.
Look at that. That's just wind. That's like fire just traveling. Wow. Traveling in the air.
Have you yourself seen anything like this before?
You know, it's not unusual to have fires like this in the late summer, early fall in Southern California. What's unusual is that we have these fires in January. That is a very, very unusual situation, and we are surprised that it happened.
It's rain.
The question is, have any of us seen something like this? And I'm not talking about in the rural areas, because we all seen it. We all seen it. This happens all the time. We all seen it. It happens in rural California. We've seen it. I'm talking about in a big city. Have any of us ever seen this? I don't remember ever seeing something like this.
Barely at all for months, hasn't it?
In the Southern California area, that's correct. There's been just a scant amount of rain, not enough to wet the fuels that are on the ground. And then on top of that, we have the extreme heat we've been having over the last several years caused by climate change. And then the fact that we didn't have a whole lot of fires in 2022 and 2023, which led to more fuel being on the ground.
You mentioned climate change, and there is political doubt sometimes cast on that. But from your experience, what you're witnessing, are you in no doubt that the heating climate makes these kind of fires more severe and more frequent?
You know what's crazy? It's true, because, see, I've been in California. And I remember I went to California in the summertime. It was 1991, I believe. I was over there, 91, maybe 90. I want to say 91, 92. But I went in the summertime. And I remember me and my mother had a headache every single day because we couldn't take the heat. But that was summertime. But can you imagine now in January? In January, it shouldn't be that hot. I mean, look in New York. People are freezing in New York. It's winter time, for God's sakes. And what I was thinking, can you imagine? What we need is a miracle. What they need, what we all need, because I'm feeling for these people. Like I said, I've been thinking about this the whole day. What we need, what they need, it's a rainstorm right now. A rainstorm. If y'all believe in praying, let's pray for a rainstorm in L.A.
Well, there is no doubt that from 2017 to now, we've seen an incredible increase in the number of fires, the amount of acres burned, all of these things leading to a significant change that has occurred. And the fact that we're getting unusual weather patterns, like in 2023, when we had the typhoon run right up California, all this is unusual.
So what would be your message then to your incoming president, who has made some quite interesting statements on climate change? Would you like Donald Trump to come and see for himself what you're dealing with?
You know, I'm lucky that we have already seen that our state governor has provided a state of emergency, applied for a fire management assistance grant. So all of those things are benefits to the local community who are suffering right now.
And how long do you think California is going to burn for now?
Listen, man, like I said, I love Trump, man. There's a lot of things about him. But Trump is the man. Trump is the man. Forget everything. Trump is the man. But I believe in the times like these, I think everybody, not just politicians, everybody should hear this. There is no room for pointing fingers. There is no room for blaming. There is no room for quarrel. There is no room for debate. There is no room for the political divide. There should be just room to work together as a union. And I'll repeat that. There is no room for division or quarrel of any kind. Unity is where the strength is at, especially in disasters like this.
Well, these winds are expected to last until Friday. And then after that, we're hoping to see some relief. Long-term projections may change, but that's up to the National Weather Service to determine.
David Acuna, thank you very much for joining us.
Has anybody asked if there's a chance of rain? Why didn't they should have asked that, man. Somebody should find out. Is there a chance of rain? I'm even going to look at the forecast in LA.
You're welcome.
Well, let's get the latest from CNN correspondent Julia Vargas Jones, who joins us live from Los Angeles. Julia,
can you guys imagine, even where there's not that much danger, in the areas where there's not that much danger, can you imagine the heat? Can you imagine the kids in the heat, the babies, the elderly going through that heat? You can't be inside a house. And I can imagine that all electricity has been cut off. They probably cut off all electricity. So you can't turn on no AC, no fan, or anything. Can you imagine the heat? That's on top of the natural heat. But on top of that, that fire actually causes it to be hotter. Must be some crazy stuff.
Extraordinary and terrifying scenes just behind you. Can you convey to us what you've witnessed today, to the sense of enormity of what's happening there?
Yeah, Kathy, look, it's apocalyptical. Even we are now in the.
That's the word, apocalyptical. I can't even pronounce it, but that's exactly the word. I was gonna say something like that when I first started watching the video. It's like I was gonna compare it to the apocalypse. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, so I was all these things remind me of the apocalypse. Like it gives me apocalyptical vibes. Let's just say. When the pandemic, I had apocalyptical vibes. It was an apocalyptical feeling. So it's crazy. Something else I forgot to mention, not just the heat, but I'm surprised that they said so far is only 5 dead. There should be, well, there shouldn't be any. There shouldn't be any. But based on what I see here, the smoke inhalation, that kills you right there. If there's there should be a lot of people that are going to get sick if they do survive from this.
City of Altadena, that's just east of Los Angeles at the foothills of the Angeles National Forest. But we're about 15-20 blocks from the edge of the woods here. This is not a wildfire, Kathy. This is an urban fire. This is actually engulfing people's homes. You can see right behind me. I'm actually going to step away because this is getting quite.
That's why I said, have we ever seen this? Have we ever seen this? It's not a wildfire. Wildfire, you see that all the time in LA, and you see it in other states, I believe. But you see this all the time, a wildfire, and it burns in the forest, and it does causes some damage. It does run through a significant amount of acres, a large area. But in the city, burning people's homes, a wildfire? Have we ever seen this? Is it me, or is this is a first? I've never seen this.
Right out of hand here, Kathy. This is what we've seen. Both sides of the streets. The fire is crossing over highways. It's crossing over streets, engulfing everything along the way. And the unfairness of it all is that some houses seem to be just fine, and some have a fate like this one, what you're seeing on your screen right now. And we hear the crackling and the explosion of all these materials and gas tanks inside tires, people's entire lives. We have folks around here who are they were looking for their dog,
yeah, people's entire lives, man. People that have worked all their lives, 40, 50 years to be able to have a home and to be able to have their own stuff in their homes and all their material things, to just watch it burn down like this. It's going to be crazy, man. The aftermath of this is going to be crazy. 2025 has been a bad start for, at least for the citizens of LA, the citizens of California, because it's going to be crazy, man, because it's just so much that the government can do. And it's going to take a lot of federal funds. It's going to take a lot of federal aid. A lot of people are going to be seriously, seriously impacted. Uh, even this is going to go. I mean, even the movie industries is going to be affected. This is going to be crazy, man. The aftermath of this is going to be crazy. And let's pray that this stops soon, because if it continues to happen, because how what strategy can they use to stop this? I don't think there is a strategy to actually stop it from happening, or to contain it right away. Well, we never know, because technology is technology, but I don't know. Let's keep watching.
Trying to get into their homes to see what is left there. But authorities at this point, as the fire has exploded to almost 10,600 acres just overnight, they're saying, look, it's not worth it. We want to preserve lives. 2 people have already died in this fire, and they're saying it's not worth it. Go to safety. Don't try to save your property. Don't be a hero. But we have seen so many people helping each other, Kathy. We spoke to people who came back to their homes and saw volunteers dousing them in water from their own hoses, trying to save it if possible. Look, it is undescribable.
Poor people. They're trying to with water from their own holes to try to put out the fire. It's crazy, man. I guess desperation, man.
The smell of smoke, you can smell the toxic particles in the air. You can see this orange sun. It feels like we are in an inferno, Kathy.
Well, Julia, I must let you and your team get to safety. But Julia Vargas-Jones, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
That smoke can even mess up your skin. Well, the video's over, but it's not over. I want to take a look at this. I want to talk about this person here. Yeah, I want to talk about this person here. I wanted to see this. I want to talk about this right here. Look at this.
Have you no response to that? Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today?
She's stunned. She's stunned. She doesn't know what the hell to do. She's going to have to resign.
Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home? Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
Oh, so she's in the airport. She's coming back from Ghana.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
I'm going to leave her face there.
Have you no response to that?
Yeah, I'm going to leave her face there because I want to talk about her. I didn't know who she was. I'm not going to act like I know who she is. I didn't know who she was. But when my wife had told me about the fire, I think it was yesterday, but I didn't really look into it until today. And the first thing I see in the New York Post is they're talking about Major Karen Bass. The fact that when it started, she left to Ghana. I guess she was on vacation. I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but she left to Ghana. And she also cut the fire department's budget by millions of dollars. Now, let me just say something for her benefit. For her benefit. To her defense, let's just say. If she cut the fire department's funds by millions of dollars, I guess she must have done it with some type of logic. And to her defense, she didn't know this was going to happen. She didn't know this was going to happen. But it happened. And on top of that, she left to Ghana. On top of that, she said some comment about, she was reading off the prompt, and instead of saying an actual website or something, she just said URL. That's all going to hurt her. And then I seen Trump got on her too and asked for her resignation. What is crazy is this is the first female mayor that LA's had. And not just the first female, not just the first black female, but the first female. And it's crazy how it has turned out. She has to resign. There's just no way around it. She can't make up for this. There's no way she can make up for this. There's no way around it. They're going to get on her. They're going to get on her. And she's not going to have, there's no room for her to go except resignation, move out of LA, stay incognito, and her own people, Kamala Harris and everybody else, all her peoples are going to tell her, listen, you need to resign. Because she's under heavy fire now, but she's going to be under heavier fire. She's going to be criticized heavily. Heavily. She's going to be criticized heavily. But anyway, y'all, I really wanted to cover this. From the bottom of my heart, I wish my peoples in LA the best. My heart is with them. I wish LA would pick themselves up. I remember the riots in the 90s. And LA is strong. I believe in LA. I believe in the people in LA. Shout out to Ice Cube. Shout out to Ice-T. He's from New Jersey, but he from out there. Shout out to Dr. Dre. Shout out to Snoop. And my heart goes out to you guys, man. I really hope that miracles happen. I'm hoping for heavy rain in LA. We got to pray for that. People, till next time, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Peace, y'all.